Hey, this is Tom with Prairie Fire Management Group. In conjunction with McPherson Housing Coalition, we have developed a really cool apartment project, basically a new neighborhood there in McPherson. And really what our goal is with McPherson Housing Coalition was to create a quality, affordable development established by a solid partnership between the two entities. And the intent really was to fill a gap in the local housing market. You know, over the past few weeks, I've noticed online through our website, through the McPherson Area Rentals Facebook page, there have been a number of questions and maybe some assumptions about the property. And I really just wanted to take a few minutes this morning through this quick little video to talk about the property and some of those things. And really, again, we put this project together and we put this development together because there are, in fact, plenty of expensive places for everyone to live. However, national trends suggest that most of us want affordable housing that allows each of us to spend the rest of our income on living, not just the roof over our heads. So, coincidentally, it is political season, and interestingly enough, virtually all political persuasions support the increase of affordable housing. So let's talk about what Prairie Pointe is not. Prairie Pointe is not public housing or government housing or whatever else maybe comes to mind when we talk about affordable. However, it is a very nice neighborhood of 45 newly constructed 2- and 3-bedroom duplexes, triplexes, and quads. The things that we provide in this project, we provide single-car garages, 2- and 3-bedroom floor plans, ADA units, Americans with Disability Act units if you require those, brand new energy-efficient appliances, a stove, washer, dishwasher, microwave, refrigerator, washer and dryer hookups, central heating and air. Again, these are brand new units that have just been built. So a little bit about the qualifications of the project and really kind of the nuts and bolts of what it is. The project was created to allow for quality, affordable housing. There's market rate housing, which is you just go out and you pay whatever your landlord wants to charge you. And then there's a project, or there's a program that our corporation and our partnership subscribes to called Low Income Housing Tax Credit Program. This is a program that's established by the Internal Revenue Service. Therefore, they set the rules of what we can charge our residents. Many individuals and families currently pay over 50% of their annual income on housing. The goal of this program is to reduce that down to maybe 30% of your total income goes to housing rather than that 50%. This really allows you to spend more of your money on other aspects of your life than, like I said, simply a roof over your head. The way that these numbers are determined, or the way that the individuals qualify, is the government looks at the area median income. That is, if we take, in this particular case, McPherson County, we find the individual that makes the absolute most amount of money in that community and the individual who makes the absolute least amount of money in that community, and the median income is whatever number is directly in the middle. So the way that this program works is if you make 60% or less of that median area income, you qualify for becoming a resident at Prairie Pointe. Units can only be rented to households at or below certain income limits. And those income limits, I'll get into those perhaps here in a bit, but units also cannot be rented to households entirely comprised of full-time students. Now, this seems to be a point that's come into contention here recently, or some questions or assumptions maybe around McPherson about what that really means. The intent of that, or in the intent of that caveat, is simply to prevent us from establishing dormitories or college housing or student housing, if you will. Because the intent of this program, again, crafted by the IRS, is really to encourage working families to move into these residences so that they have a quality place to live at an affordable rate, so that, again, they can spend their money on other things that have to do with their family and not just the roof over their head. A full-time student is essentially defined as anyone who's been enrolled in full-time schooling for 5 months of the prior calendar year. So this is 2016. If you were a student for more than 5 months in 2015, you currently can't qualify. That is, if you're the head of this household, or if you and whoever your roommates are, if they were all engaged in school for over 5 months of last year. Again, this only applies to the entire household. or if the entire household is comprised of students. Parents with students or a couple comprised of one student and one non-student, you can still qualify for the program. So again, there's nothing really against students. This is just a caveat put in by the IRS to prevent basically the creation of us putting out dormitories rather than truly serving the communities that we put these developments in. The application process, this is another item that has come up quite a bit. It is fairly extensive, and it is extensive because the government really wants to make sure that the individuals that are becoming residents in our properties really do qualify. So the application process, while it's a little lengthy, I believe the actual application is 9 pages. While it's a little lengthy, it's actually not terribly difficult. Your first step in the application process would be to visit 915 Stearman Street. That's immediately south of Avenue A on Stearman under the beautiful McPherson Water Tower. Or call 620-504-6065 to speak with our on-site property manager. You obtain an application and fill it out completely. That is the absolute most important component of this entire process, is filling out that application completely. You'll get an application from our office there at 915 Stearman in the clubhouse. Along with that application, you will complete the questions on the app, but you'll also need to provide some verifications. Rental verifications, employment verifications, bank verifications. That is, if you signify that you have a checking account or a savings account, you will need your bank to sign off on a document that says, yes, Susie Smith has, $200 in her checking account. And again, that's simply to show, and that's simply to prevent folks who don't qualify for the income portion of this process, who don't qualify from taking advantage and getting a lower rent unit if maybe they can afford more somewhere else. So rental verifications, employment verifications, make sure you work where you say you work, or make sure you don't work where you say you don't work. Rental verifications, basically a history of maybe where you've been, where you've resided before. Income verifications, if you receive Social Security or SSI, those need to be provided to us as well, as you can get letters from Social Security Administration documenting that. Once we have all of that information, we complete an income analysis to again assure that your income qualifies for your residency at Prairie Pointe. Once all the information is received by our on-site property manager, she will send it to my office for a quick review, just as a double check to make sure that all the components of that application have been provided and are accounted for. We'll also provide a background check just to maintain the safety of all our residents, to make sure that we don't have anyone particularly dangerous that is applied and moving in next to you. At that point, my office then has a third-party firm go and triple check the application. At that point, the application is typically approved. More times than not, if an application gets that far in the process, they typically don't get denied. Typically, I will catch it in my office, or the on-site property manager will catch anything that might be prohibitive or indicative that applicant maybe won't qualify. But again, the third-party firm, they triple-check the application, get it back to us. We give you the heads up, hey, you've been approved. We'll set a move-in date, and you're good to go. From the time an application is received to the time we can alert you to approval should be less than 10 days if everything on that application has been completed and provided. Now, sometimes we'll get an application and maybe a rental certification or bank verification isn't complete or hasn't been provided by the applicant. On those cases, the ball's kind of in your court, because at that point we alert you that needs to be completed or that information needs to be collected. And at that point, it is your responsibility to get that, say, in this example, from your bank. Now, however long that takes you and your bank to get that worked out, that is between you guys. But these units are going pretty quick. And if you're truly interested in a unit, I would highly suggest that you get your information and all that documentation as quickly as you can and turn it all in one packet to eliminate the process of kind of bopping back and forth between our office and you and your bank and your former landlord and whatnot. So the sooner that we have all of that information, the sooner we can get you approved and on your way into moving into Prairie Pointe. Again, the Prairie Pointe project is a wonderful place. It is newly constructed. It's brand new. you have a single car garage, you have the appliances. It's basically created a brand new neighborhood there in McPherson. And again, the rental rates. Here we can talk roughly about what the household incomes are. For a one-person household, that individual cannot make more than $30,540 to qualify. Two-person household, $34,000, $920. Now, that's for the two people. That's for the entire household income. A three-person household is about $39,000. A four-person household, about $43,500. Again, we have 2 and 3 bedroom units. The 2 bedroom units, depending upon your qualification, range between $515 and $555 per month. The 3 bedroom units go for a flat $695, regardless of where you fall in that income qualification scale. Anyway, again, I hope you drop by 915 Stearman Street, drive around our little neighborhood of 45 residential units there for you. Again, some are 2 stories, some are 1 story. But they are wonderful, wonderful units with garages, with appliances. It's basically your own neighborhood, and you get to be sort of a foundational component of a new neighborhood in McPherson. Again, we're just south of Avenue A on Stearman Street, just below the McPherson Water Tower. If you have questions, stop by our leasing office there at 915 Stearman, or give us a call at 620-504-6065, or check out live@prairiepointe.com. Again, we hope you come by our property. We hope you check us out. We hope that you submit an application and ultimately become a great resident. Have a wonderful day. I hope this answered your questions. If not, give us a shout and we'll get it figured out for you. Thanks so much.